My announcement is that we wanted people to be aware that during the coffee hour break this morning, Dr. Temple Grandin is already here. Her books will be being sold in the ballroom at coffee hour, which starts at the coffee break at 10:10 to 10:45. So she will be there selling her books, signing them, and then she'll also be available, I think, right before her lunch at 12:15, and then right after her presentation at 2:45. So Dr. Grandin is available in coffee hour. We just wanted people to be aware that she is here, and her books are all set up, and they're ready to be sold. And she is awesome, like my nerves. So have a great session here. Thank you.
I also heard that Brutus is coming during the coffee break. So that's Brutus is the Ohio State mascot. It's a buckeye seed with arms and legs, kind of silly, but it's big for us.
Do we have a 3D of him?
I've never found a 3D. Is the microphone on?
No.
No. Standing here. Okay.
Oh, is it now?
Yeah.
Yay! Okay, yes. I look for 3D Brutuses. I've never found one, but you can go touch Brutus.
Oh, okay.
So that will work out for you.
Oh,
Okay, let's get started.
There's a statue of Brutus downstairs in the lobby.
Yes.
Oh.
There's a bunch of Brutuses
cool.
around campus, like different themed ones, too.
Oh, that's cool.
It's fun. Yeah, so my name is Caroline Karbowski. I will be a sophomore here at The Ohio State University in biology. I want to do science accessibility for people who are blind, deaf, and deafblind. And when I was a junior in high school, I started C3D. So I'm telling you the story and what we're doing now. So info about me. Fun fact is that I know sign language. I love sign language. So I did the national anthem at the OSU basketball game. I'm also on the jump rope team here. And I did theater for a long time, so I was Lucy in Your Grandma Charlie Brown. I did some plant research, and we built a 15-foot snowman at Ohio State. And so I love the community here, and I would be here forever if the dining hall was always open.
Yes.
So this all started out when I saw an article on the Journal of Blindness, Innovation, and Research. It was about how you could 3D print microscope and telescope images to make them tactile, so that way people who are blind can make their own observations. And they had Braille labels on the models. And I thought, like, this is really cool. And all the fun fact, when I was in 6th grade, I decided I was going to teach myself Braille so I could read books in the car without getting dizzy. So I started then. 8th grade, I kind of got into some of the 3D printing, did more in high school, and did more Braille in high school. Now I know, like, the full UEB code, and then I'm trained to be a transcriber. I love Braille, and I read it by touch. I find it really useful. Even though I'm sighted, it's fun. Like, my roommate wants to go to bed, and it's no big deal because I'll just put my Braille books. So it's fun. And so I started going online to see, like, what's out there in the 3D printing world. What are people doing? So they're 3D printing pictures and book illustrations and, like, pictures, like in paintings like the Mona Lisa, doing signatures of famous people. You even can 3D print like the scans of a newborn baby before it's born, so you know what it looks like, which is kind of cool. And they're even doing scans of people so they know what they look like as their school photos. The Indiana School for the Blind and Vision Impaired just did this as well, hoping to do that at OSSB at some point if we can get a scanner. So I had like these ideas of, oh, we could do some 3D printing, I could do some Braille, but I don't know anyone who's blind. Like, I didn't meet anyone who was blind till I was a junior in high school. But I happened to go do some college searches. That's what you do. It's like those vacations that aren't really vacations. They're college search vacations. And so I went to Xavier and I met Cassandra. So she's on the right with the yellow castle. And I asked her, I said, what would you want 3D printed? She goes, I want a castle. And so I gave her the model, and she's the first person to receive a model from us. And she said before she touched the model, castle was just a word. Whoa. So after that, I was like, wow, we really got to do some stuff. This is kind of scary, you know. Also, I have a 3D printed castle. That will be in the giveaway, fun fact. And then she told me about her friend Emily. Emily wanted a world map and some cats. And you think, like, why do you need a cat? Well, she could, like, feel her cat, but the cat moves around. And she wanted to know, like, what does it look like in entirety? Because she can only feel one piece of the cat, like just the tail or just the head. And she wanted the full set. So I gave that to her. Then I started going to schools. My mom's friend is a TVI, teacher visually impaired, so I started shouting at her schools, brought some models. The kids wanted snowflakes and movie characters. Because think about like a snowflake, you can't really touch that. I mean, you can, but it doesn't. You can't see the designs. So we did some of those. They wanted houses. And in fact, like, Emily said that she didn't know a house had a triangle roof. She thought it was flat, like the ceiling's flat. So there's just like kind of those misconceptions. We wanted to like do some 3D prints of those. And then I went to the Art Institute of Chicago. They have 3D printed some of their sculptures, so that way you can touch them, and you don't have to be blind to like touch these either. And they found it's like by touching the models, like everyone could benefit and learn something new. And they have laser cut paintings. So this is a Renoir painting, and it has Braille that's laser cut too, which is kind of cool. And I was like, whoa. So I just started like, you know, going around like seeing what is everyone doing. I went to the Indiana School for the Blind and Visually Impaired, ISBVI. They have a great 3D printing program. They just got a donation of over 220 3D printers. Yes, it's like, whoa, it's like the company had all this extra printers, and it was cheaper for them to donate than to store them. So they're going to be printing a lot. And they have some pictures here. This is of Mount Rushmore, and the heads are the size of a human head. So think how big that is. And they have all these printers, so they can print pieces and then glue them together. They also have a floor plan of the school, and it's like a fire escape map. And we did a little like floor plan maps too. We got of the Ohio Union. Let's check it out. So this is the second floor. Like reference, the top left is the ballroom, and there's gaps where you can feel where the doors are. So we have tactile graphics here that were made. And what's great about the 3D print is that you don't have to be a tactile graphic artist to make it. Like there's a lot of people out there who know 3D printing but don't know what to make. So hey, why don't you make some stuff for us, and like we can save some money. So, and that map will last for a while too. ISBVI also did this project with Benjamin Harrison's home. They printed his house. So it's like a dollhouse. You can open it up and feel the rooms inside. And they do like maps of their campus. And this filament they use is blue, and it's a special filament. It's called Polysmooth by Polymaker. I have not used it, but it's what they use, and I think it's really cool because it doesn't have ridges. You print it, and you put it in like an acetone chamber you can buy, and it makes it really glossy and smooth. It's really amazing, so recommend that. And so after like going around to these places, I thought, okay, let's kind of put this together, because I had this tech conference in high school, and I wanted to submit a project. It was called Tech Olympics, this is the conference. And so let's do some 3D printing, because we have all this excess filament at school that no one's using. We have 3D printers that no one's using. Let's print some objects for people who are blind. So the idea was, let's have people request models on a website, we'll print them, then we can distribute them, and then they can touch the models, and everyone's happy. So this is the team that we took to Tech Olympics. We then went to a fair at University of Cincinnati. So kind of fun. We just have some of the original models here from that. I don't know, let's see, if the castle's still there. Oh, the chloroplast, I don't have that one anymore, but we had some snowflakes too, Mickey Mouse. By the way, am I blocking any of you? Can you see the screen? Is this like a problem? No? Okay, cool. So that was fun. We just kind of got some feedback from my friends. I was trying to involve other high school kids in the community, try and get them to get some 3D printers out there. Then we launched this website. Now, I don't know, this website is not the best because there's a picture in the background with text on front, and you can't really see that too well. And like we didn't know that, we're just making this for the conference. So now, thanks to my friend Garrett, we made it high contrast with the font aligned to the left. It's much better now. So if you ever need help with like web accessibility, there's a lot of resources out there, and there's accessibility checkers you can put your website through to see how accessible it is. And we use Google Forms for our requests. So people make a request through Google Forms, and then we get the request for the model, and we mail it to them. So Garrett, yes, my friend Garrett, hello. He goes to Ohio State too. We'll both be sophomores. And my friend Emily, she goes to University of Cincinnati. She designed the Ohio Union maps that are here. And it's cool too because she has low vision, so she really has some good perspectives on like what we should make. So this is kind of like some Braille. I love Braille, so I'm like, how can I involve Braille? Well, all of our models have Braille a lot of times on them. This is a great model. It is an iPhone. And you're like, why do I need an iPhone model? Well, you can feel the buttons on the screen. Sometimes they're like, my friend Rachel wanted it because she used it as a teaching tool to explain how to use VoiceOver. And then we 3D printed Braille on it. Always 3D print Braille vertically, not like horizontal like a flat book. If you do it vertically, it's slower, and then it feels much better. So highly recommend doing that. You can also do clear Braille labels and add those on. Sometimes they fall off though. At ISBVI, they use all clear labels because they found kids pick off the Braille. So, there's options out there. I prefer 3D printing it because then I don't have to do it, but that's fun. Then we also include description letters. I went to OSSB and talked to Dr. Kaler, and we had a 3D printed Disney castle. And she said, well, is the student going to know that's a castle? I'm like, oh yeah, they won't know what it is unless you tell them or describe what the object is. So that's why I include Braille description letters of the models. Another reason why I want to be a transcriber, because I'm Brailing these things. I'm like, am I doing it correctly? I don't know. So that's why I started learning Braille rules. And we also have Braille on our shipping boxes, so that way you know where the box came from. And one woman said that it was the first time she knew where the box came from, was when we sent her models. So that was really cool. And the hopes for C3D.org, it'd be great if you can make a request through the website instead of using Google Forms. We're working on that. Also, if when people make a request, it would pop up on the screen so people know, hey, this person wants a model, and then other people could help us out, so it's not as much of us just printing models, because a lot of times someone gives us a request, and then I email hey, can you print this model? And if they saw it on our website, they'd be like, oh, I can help out too. And we also could have logins for the people who make requests or people that want to design models, making it more secure, because a lot of it is more, I get an email for the model and then I outsource to other people, and I wish you could just go on the website and see from there, you could see what the requests are, you could help from there. Then we went to the Ohio Braille Challenge, and they wanted some models. So we did some maps for them. We also did this cool styrene molecule. It's what styrofoam is made out of. And you can feel all the bonds from it. And so I love going to events and just giving out models. That's why there's a model giveaway. We also have a cool neuron. If it breaks, no big deal, it breaks all the time. So, but it is cool, we have, when you can actually feel, I looked at that and I was like, wow, now I understand what this looks like so much better than beforehand. So you don't have to be blind to benefit. I think that's a big thing. And empower blind people in Kyrgyzstan. We sent them some models because the Clovernuk Center for the Blind was going there to show them how to do some Braille things. And we gave this one. This is the St. Basil's Cathedral in Russia. It's the one that has the colorful domes. And I think that's one thing that's cool about 3D printing is we can print something here, then the people in Kyrgyzstan can have it too. And it's wow, we all have the same models and we can all learn from each other. That's the great thing is all the models I'm handing out today are available online, except the phone model. I can send that to my friend designed it, and eventually he's going to post on Thingiverse too. So that's what's great. This is all free access. We've got some more photos of kids with models. They loved the DNA. Then the teacher there said these were some of the best models they've ever had. Because I just found that sometimes if the schools don't have the resources, when we can provide the models, it's really great because all our students can use it. It's inexpensive. We also had a butterfly model. Here it is. The butterfly is missing a leg. Sometimes these models kind of break, but it's okay. And what's nice about the butterfly model is the one I first passed around, it has legs. But the second one I passed around, it has wings that have detail on them, but there's no legs, but the wings flap. So you can have both models and have both underneath. You can have the legs. I had a friend that doesn't like touching insect legs. It creeps her out. So having the model is great because then she's not going to get creeped out. Also, you can 3D print tigers and you're not going to get hurt. So on that too, we did a jellyfish model for the Newport Aquarium. Again, all of these were online. I like Yahoo Japan. It's a designer. They do all these great animal models. And we did the whale shark and the tree frog, toad, octopus, and the sea anemone. Oh, the sea anemone is really cool. We got a fish, and it's inside the anemone like Nemo. And I think because you can't touch an anemone, you're going to sting yourself. But the 3D print works really well. So we gave those to the aquarium. Love doing some museum access. One thing you have to worry about is well, are the models we're handing out accurate? Well, I don't know. But so that is something you have to worry about. But if it's free and you're giving it to them, it's better than nothing. So that's how I look at it. And we're now helping out with the Ohio State School for the Blind OSSB Model Club. They have a historic collection of models from the Great Depression that were built that are great. They're huge, they're detailed, but they only have one of each copy, and a lot of them are old. So we're 3D printing smaller versions so the kids can feel the object and have an idea of what the full object looks like. They can hold it all in their hand. It's not like they're just holding one wall. so they can feel the 3D print, get the general idea, and then move to the big model. And then there's enough that each kid could have their own model. So that's really cool. And we're also teaching the students and teachers how to work their own printers. And the Osu Innovation Studio, this is a great resource here at Ohio State. You can have 3D printing there. And if you are a student, faculty, or staff, you can get free seed funding if you apply every 7 weeks. So they have been graciously helping us out printing and with funding. We did a great train model with them, and a map of the United States. It's precipitation, so the state is taller if it gets more precipitation. This is also a giveaway, so see if you like it, you know. I love going to maker fairs. Garrett comes, we went to Maker X in Columbus. These are like a lot of maker people. You have 3D printing people there, people who do crafty things and woodworking, and we all hang out. So I recommend going to these maker fairs because they're very hands-on. You can meet other people, and we also like to promote Braille. A lot of people have never seen a Braille typewriter before, and so if we have the Brailler there, people can type their name, and then they're more interested about blindness and about tactile learning, and it's a great way to spread ideas, is just going to these fairs and sharing things that you're doing. And at the maker fairs, you can meet companies. That's a big thing. So I've used a lot of Hatchbox filament just because a friend told me it was good, and then that's all I've used. So I recommend it, not like I haven't used anything else, but it's good. IC 3D, it's like the letter I, then C, number 3D. They are a 3D printing filament and printer company in Columbus. They're at the maker fair. They're really cool, and if you ask them for their unsellable rolls, you can sometimes get them to donate to you. And that goes for all 3D printing companies. I have friends, they just ask for unsellable rolls, and you can get some donations. And so I have some 3D printing giveaway filament that's coming from them, so that's really nice of them. Also, Polar 3D, it's a web-based slicer, cloud-based, so you don't need software on your computer to convert from STL to G-code. I did use it all with VoiceOver, so this is really close to accessible 3D printing. So you can take the model, download it, open and change the size using VoiceOver, and then send it to a printer if that printer is Wi-Fi based. You can't control things like changing the film on the printer, but you can control like starting the print and stopping the print. And Polar 3D is working towards more accessibility. We've been talking with them on that. Also, I use the FlashForge Inventor 2 printer. It's one of those Wi-Fi printers. It's pretty good. And Ultimaker 2 Extended Plus is what they use at OSSB. I'd say it's like less accessible because you can't, use the Wi-Fi unless you like add other things to it. But it is great quality. Gecko Tech. How many of you are 3D printer people out here? Was I like raise of hands and clap hands, something like that? Woo woo. Oh, I see some friends. Yay. So I don't know if you struggle with taking the model off the build plate. Does anyone struggle? Well, I was at a maker fair, and there's like these build plates you can put on your thing, and then the model just pops right off. It's great. So this will be a giveaway too. If you can use it, it's like if this fits your printer, you can have it. But I never turn back from like using tape or glue because it just pops right off the plate, and it lasts me about a year, and I do a lot of prints. So it just, after I started using this, my life was better. Foam sanding blocks, I use like sand to like sand the models down so they're smooth. And a lot of times these models are rough. So I use a heat emulsion. You use them on cards. It's like a very hot hair dryer. I don't know if it's made for this, but I use it. And that's what it's done. A lot of this is me just making stuff up, and it works. So again, Rachel is my friend who requested that iPhone model, and she said that once she like touched this and her friends touched it, like they were able to learn so much faster because they could understand where the buttons were, and when she was describing the phone, they actually knew like what was going on. And nowadays, her boss is like stealing the model, not really stealing, I guess asking for the model, and she keeps it hidden in her backpack because she's so afraid she's going to lose it because it's so helpful to her.
What is it?
It's a 3D printed iPhone. It's going around.
Oh, yeah.
It also has an interchangeable screen for apps.
Yeah.
That's going. We're making one of
the
the
voicemail one.
Yes. I could pass around the app one too.
Yeah.
And we're making one that's like the numbers that you dial,
Yeah.
like 1, 2, 3, all that. Rachel also requested an eye, like muscles of the eye model for her exam that she needed to do, and then she passed the exam, so that was kind of cool. Then my friend Karen, I met Karen at the NFB convention. She's working on her Master's of Cognitive Neuroscience and PhD candidate. So it's really cool. She's blind and she's doing all this neuroscience stuff, and she wanted the DNA model. And after she felt the DNA model, she says, wow, like I actually know what it is, because when she was in school, she was told to visualize a double helix. I don't know how, I can't visualize. Yes, go, yay. So, and then she also got a castle. I'm going to read her feedback. I had a vague idea of what a castle looked like in terms of the base. The top and towers were completely new to me. I'd always heard of towers and castles, but didn't imagine the towers were a part of the castle. I thought the third dimension looked like a triangle, like houses do. I didn't know bridges were attached to castles. So those were some really cool things, and that was just like from feeling the model, she could have a better understanding. Then there's my friend Winslow. He's a retired adaptive computer trainer. He likes weird shaped models, like cool mathy models. So this is a photo at least of a Klein bottle. So if you think of a Play-Doh in the shape of a cylinder, take the top and like pull it so it's skinny and then attach it to the side of your Play-Doh. It's like a loop. And he said, I need a 3D model of the yin-yang symbol for a devotional I was writing. So I contacted Caroline. When I received the model, I became even more excited, since with age and complete vision loss, I had begun to forget what certain things look like. Since then, I've requested models of a Moebius ring and a Klein bottle. These weird shapes are fascinating, and I find myself exploring the model when my brain is busy doing its thing. Kind of fun. This is a great site. This is where you can get all those models that I have printed out here. We have thingiverse.com, myminifactory.com. They've just uploaded some great models of buildings. They have great, all this like with Notre Dame going on, they have some great Notre Dame models. Stl Finder is kind of like all of the websites put together. I go there if I can't find anything. Sometimes you get things like that aren't STL files or things that you can't actually 3D print, or they want you to pay for the model, but if you're stuck, like you can check that out because it kind of like it searches through Thingiverse and My Mini Factory and other websites out there. 3dprint.nih.gov, that's for the NIH 3D Print Exchange. They have some great medical models. TouchMapper is also amazing. You can put in an address and it gives you a tactile map file that you can then 3D print. And you don't have to know 3D printing to get this. You know, you can also move the map around, so maybe you want to zoom in somewhere. It gives you the roads and the outlines of buildings. So the buildings will all be flat. They won't have like the height of a building. But it's kind of like a good idea if you wanted to work on like with O&M, orientation mobility skills. You can add Braille labels to it. You can also edit the maps if you want to take clutter out. The people at ISPBI do that. Also, NASA has these great 3D printed models. So we have the Curiosity rover, and you can print it all at one time. They have multiple pieces on the build plate, and then you can build it. Then we have the James Webb Space Telescope. And these are such great models. Like they print so well. They do such a great job designing these. And we have the Hubble Space Telescope. There's like the solar panels and things on the side. It's like kind of breakable. Just notice that while you're touching it. Okay, grants. The GE Additive Education Grant is how I got some of these FlashForge Inventor 2 printers. And they're with Polar 3D. I think it's usually applying in April. It's a great grant for schools to apply for. You get 2 printers and a bunch of filament. It is amazing. Highly recommend applying. Also, Jane Goodall's Roots and Shoots Foundation. You can apply for grants, I think between like $250 to maybe $500. And it's more for like school projects, but we were able to apply and get some money from them. And again, Osu Innovation Studio for seed funding. Check out their website. And we're here at the exhibit hall. So I really like to have some accessible printers out there. That'd be so cool if kids who are blind could print independently, trying to work with some people on that. And when you go to a movie as someone who's blind, you can get audio description for the movie, but they don't always have enough time to describe all the movie characters. So love to have some more 3D printed movie characters. It'd also be great if we had kids that are learning CAD design in their class to design objects that have been requested by C3D, so they're designing things that have a need. Sometimes it's a little bit more meaningful if you're designing something that's for a bigger purpose than just your homework. And it'd be great if we had a Thingiverse that was mainly for blindness-related objects. There's a man in India who is working on this, last I checked. So, because a lot of times if you go on Thingiverse and you type in butterfly, you get the butterfly models that I passed around, but you also get things like butterfly necklace or, artistic butterfly, things that aren't realistic butterflies. So it'd be great if adding more descriptions to the models so people know what they're downloading. And love to have some more printers in schools with kids who are blind. And the ways you can get involved is if you have a 3D printer and you want to help out, we're always needing help for printing objects. And if you know 3D design, we have people that ask us to make logos, we had someone make a butterfly chrysalis, and we had some friends who could do that for us. And if you know Braille and you want to practice Braille, or you want to learn Braille, come talk to me because I have some resources and we can use your help. And involving your school, if you have a school and you have 3D printers or an organization and you're not using them and you're looking for what can I do with all of my excess filament, color does not matter. Come talk to us. Also, these are the current design requests. This is what we need your help on. A steam engine, roller coaster, houses, family photos, the Milky Way galaxy, sound waves, Thomas Jefferson's home, Monticello. This is for OSSB. OSSB also has airplane models. We have them all. We need the 3D print version. Fire. I don't even know, like, fire, that's a big one. If anyone has ways to teach fire, let me know. And then bagpipes. You know, it's out there. So here is our contact info. It's C3D, S-E-E, and the numeral 3D.org. And we're on Instagram too. Also note on Instagram and social media, include captions of your photos. You can do alternate text. That way everyone can see your pictures. And we're on GoFundMe. That's mainly how we're funded. And also just from Innovation Studio and the grants. On Facebook, we are C3D. C3D is also one word. And my email and the C3D email is info@c3d.org, so info at c3d.org. And if you want to talk to Garrett on some web accessibility, or you just want some more info, Garrett's email is Carder, C-A-R-D-E-R, .320, at osu.edu. Garrett's also Garrett. Oh, let's go back. There we go. So let's have some, how are we doing on time here? Are we doing well? Oh, good. Oh, yes, you have a question.
Well, no, I just have a comment.
Yes.
I would like a set of all the Flintstone characters.
Oh,
No, I'm just kidding.
yes, I will look.
But I have no idea like the person
Right.
said when you first started. I mean, there are so many characters, Disney characters. You have no idea
Exactly.
what size their head is.
Like
and
my
what
friend
size-
Haley, she wanted to know about Shrek.
Oh,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
It's like Shrek has pointy ears, and he's an ogre.
I want all the SpongeBob characters.
Oh, there you
yes.
go.
So that's what happens. And once you start thinking of these things, you're like, oh, what could I start making? And let's see. Oh, you know how they saw that tactile star thing last night?
Oh, that was
It
awesome.
is available as STL file. Talk to Anna. And we 3D printed. It's a little bit rougher than the models you had, but like the great thing about 3D printing is anyone can help. You know, I don't have a thermoform machine. I don't have a PIF machine, but I have a 3D printer, and I can use my 3D printer for things besides blindness-related content. So I can see like a lot of schools are more likely to purchase a 3D printer because all their students can use it, and there's a lot of uses for it besides just tactile objects. And plus, with your tactile object, all your students can benefit. Great example. This is the latest project of the DNA helix. So each piece took an hour to print. It took I have another half. I gave it to Dr. Sukai. He spoke yesterday. I really love this DNA model. Each, like adenine, thymine, they're all different colors, and you can build it tactily. You can also build it wrong and then notice that it's not curving like a helix here. It's like poking out. It comes apart, so that's okay if it comes apart. But again, everyone benefits from that model. I really understood DNA when my teacher pulled out a model similar to that. And the model she had was $300. Granted, it had magnets and it was better, but mine's a lot cheaper. I think maybe $10, I don't know. A lot of it's electricity. A lot of it's human labor. It's a lot of sanding, a lot of heating. But if you want to save money, if you want all of your students to have a copy, 3D printing is really great for that. Also, what's fun about the DNA is I print out some uracil too, and you can feel the differences between all of these things. Like you can feel the difference between uracil and thymine. So you can make it RNA strand. There's a lot of ways you can use these models, and then all of your students can benefit. We also have a model of a stomata. These are on leaves, leaves, kind of like mouths, so they can breathe and such. And someone from India requested that model, and we just sent them the STL file, and they could print it themselves, because since they were blind, they had a hard time on Thingiverse trying to find these images because they can't see the pictures. So that's an option too. If you're looking for recommendations, especially if you're blind and you want to 3D print, we can help find models for you and send you the STL file. We have Air Force One. This was recommended by my friend Rosa. So she also won the MLK Monument in DC, done a lot. I think it's around 25 packages we've mailed. A lot of people ask for models again. Most of our models are for events, like the Braille Challenge, like the Aquarium, like this. What else? Oh, we all love our keynote yesterday, Anusha Ansari. So we did her rocket that she flew in.
Oh, cool.
Yep, it's a little tiny, but you can figure it out. And yet another giveaway. This is like the mountains of the United States. So again, like I know like there's models out there too, but it's like if you have excess filament and you want to help out, you want to have more materials for kids who are blind, just like use your 3D printer. It's a great way to involve people who may not see themselves as someone that's in the field of like education for people who are blind. And especially my friends that do 3D design, now they're like more aware of like the need for Braille, need for accessible materials because they've been involved. What else we got over here? Oh, I have also another like half of the union. It's the third floor of the union. It's kind of cool. Also note on the maps, if you're feeling like bumps that are like solid, it's the part of the conference that we're not using. If it's like hollow, that's a room that we're using. And everyone ready for the 3D model giveaway? Okay. So let's get started. So anyway, does anyone here, the Hubble Space Telescope has already been requested by someone, so that's off limits. But if you want that and you're blind, just put a request in and you can get it. So the first person to ask a question, you can pick a model. Any questions out there? Yes.
So how long does it take to make, like, say, the United States map?
15 hours. I would say that. Yes. Okay, so what model would you like?
The United States map.
Okay, good. So when that comes around, I don't know where that is. Oh, which one? Do you want the one with the precipitation or the mountains? Okay, that one's gone. Okay. Yes.
Can I see the mountain?
Yes. I might still have some back here. I don't know, but I just got a bunch of these models just kind of hanging around. I think it's still back there. Oh, we have some orbitals too. Cool stuff. Oh, also this is like just planets. It's kind of a broken model, so I'm really willing to give this away. So, any other questions? Yes, Lindsay.
What is like one of the most like just the coolest, most interesting things that you've discovered just by creating a model?
I would say, so the DNA model, I was building it yesterday and it wasn't twisting. And I didn't know why it wasn't twisting, then I realized I was building it wrong. And I also didn't know that like the nucleotides they're tilted. I thought it was all gonna be horizontal, but it's very tilted, and I did not know that. I just found that out yesterday. And the Klein bottle was cool, and these Moebius rings that are like really oddly shaped objects. I was like learning about like with the White House model. I didn't know the number of columns that were on there. Then I found out. So, yes, Dad.
So is there a fee to ship any of these models?
No, yes, we do mail these free matter for the blind. That's a fun fact. Also, let's see what else we got. Oh, does anyone here have a printer that wants Gecko Tech that's like small enough? I think it's like 170 millimeters by 170. If you don't have that, oh, you do? You have a printer 170, 170? Okay, well, free model, there you go. It's actually not model to build.
Do I get a model suggestion?
Oh, yes, what model do you want?
I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah, which one do you want?
How about the fish?
Yes, yeah, you can have that. So right now, I think someone else is touching it, but that's, yeah, you can have that. Okay. Yes.
That's for like processes, so like having or something, so like
Oh.
taking it from a caterpillar to a butterfly.
Yes, that's one we just did. It's a leaf with the eggs on it, and we did the eggs and the chrysalis and the butterflies. It was sent to a school in New York. That was just a few weeks ago. Yes. Oh, also, can anyone here use filament? Yes, you can. Do you have a question? Yes, let's hear it.
I'm wondering if you guys are playing around at all with recycling filament or
Oh.
recycling bottles.
Yes. Okay. So ISBBI can take. I have a friend there, and he has a friend that can take PLA stuff. So, did you have a question over here? I thought I heard some. No. Okay, cool. So I'm planning on I'm saving everything. Sometimes I melt stuff down and I repair models with it. IC3D I think is doing more ABS. I think recycling right now or so. Also, if you have IC3D, they take back the spools that are holding your filament. And it saves them money, and it saves us waste, so it's great. And so do you want the 3 millimeter or 1.75 filament? Okay. Note 2, if your filament's iffy, put it in a bag with those things that are in your shoes that keep the shoes dry, that takes out the moisture. Yes, in the back. That wants the, you want the Hubble.
Yeah.
You.
The castle that was being passed around, what castle is that?
It's St. Basil's Cathedral in Russia, so it's more of a church
okay.
than say like a
So
castle.
it's not the Disney castle.
No, yes, I have the Disney castle as well. If you want to check that out.
And that's not,
That's St. Basil's.
that's St. Basil's.
Yes, that was in Kazakhstan. Oh, yes,
Very cool.
yes.
So I could also use filming, but
Okay,
I have
cool.
a question.
Yes.
too. What was the most surprising or unexpected challenge you experienced?
Oh. Okay, just
starting this process.
okay. In general, it's like the printer failing. Like the printer was like failing this week, and it was really bad. Like I was freaking out, so I had to like go find other people to help print for me. I would say find like orienting the model. Sometimes they don't print. Like guanine on the DNA model, it took me 2 days to figure out how to print that. So that was an issue. I would say like just the amount of emails and keeping up with that. That's a big one. Or people like it's always interesting when people find you. Like I'm like, oh, how'd you hear about me? Like, oh, I saw you online. I'm like, oh, cool. So yes. Oh, would you like 1.75 or 3 millimeter?
Whatever you got the most of, we'll get rid of.
Okay, wait, does anyone here like only use 1.75 or 3 millimeter that wants that? Okay, so you can have 1.75. Enjoy.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks to IC3D. Yes, one with the DNA model.
Yeah, so I'm sorry, and you might have said this, but I've been mesmerized by
Yes.
the models.
Oh, thanks.
I'm listening to your words all the time. But is there a process for vetting designs that come up? So if I find something on Thingiverse, I don't want it to be pretty, I want it to be accurate. Is there a vetting process? Can we send it to someone and have them go, no?
You can comment on the models.
Okay.
So, and then a lot of times I've seen people like they're giving you feedback back. Like, hey, like this model wasn't printing for me. And like, oh, I just fixed it up. And people post updated models.
Okay, so
That's-
I can ask them,
Yes,
find a judicious way of kindly
Yes.
asking, is this just nonsense?
right. That is important. Oh, yes, and what model would you like? Yeah, that's the James Webb Space Telescope.
Yeah.
Really cool. Thanks to NASA.
Yeah.
Okay, yes, women. I see you. You have a purple shirt on.
Do your models float?
Float. Yes. Well, we think maybe. I don't think so. It depends how hollow they are. A lot of these are infill is how hollow your prints are. So I print between 7 to 15. So I think it's only that.
Sea creatures would float.
Oh, I don't know, but maybe if it's that hollow, you could probably change your infill and make it, as floaty as you want. That's a good idea. I like that. I'm gonna start doing that. Thank you. And would you like a model?
Can I have the other United States, the rainfall?
Yes. Oh, perfect. Oh wait, who wanted the one that had the mountains on it?
I wanted to see it.
Oh
I didn't
yes,
want it, but
yes.
it's mine
Okay.
now. I
Okay.
just wanna touch
We're
it.
passing it down your
It's
row.
I'm a good share.
And has everyone seen that precipitation map? Or is that still going around?
Going around.
Okay.
I'm done.
That's cool. That's cool. Actually, I feel like I had a bunch back here. I don't know. Thanks to the Innovation Studio for making that map for me. Thank you. Well, I don't know. It might be back here. Who knows?
I just bumped
Right now.
Oh, there's another
Yes.
model here. What's this?
Oh, okay, cool. So anything too. Oh, we do this thing at Ohio State called OHIO, and you put your hands in the air. We have models of that if you're interested. Oh, yeah, there you go. Yes, I know you had a question. Yes.
My question was, you said something about electricity?
Yes.
Once again, I was engrossed in the maps or the models
Oh.
like the other person was.
Yes, it's because you have to plug the printer into the wall, and I once heard that you spend more money on electricity to have your printer in the wall than you do on filament. So, I can't really, my parents, I guess, are paying for that, but, so, I just kind of plug in the wall, hope for the best. It is, running, so I think that is kind of a cost. I don't really know how to monitor that.
Yeah.
Need some engineering people out here, but that is a fact.
They make little things they're like power strips, and you can plug it in, and it monitors your electricity.
Well, I need that. Yes, so.
I would imagine that, like everything else, you can probably find it on Amazon.
Yes. Okay, and I do see a question there in the back. Yes, you. Oh, first time I learned Braille, I looked up the alphabet online, memorized it, and pushed with the pencil and paper. And then after that, I just got books, print Braille books. And then I use the Hadley School for the Blind. It's a free online resource, free online school if you're working with blind kids or volunteering, kind of thing. Yes, and again, we're kind of wrapping up here. But if you want info, I have like my business card. If you want to like send an email, come up to the front. We have info pamphlets in large print and Braille and print. And if you want to see them all, that's awesome. So thank you so much for coming out today.